Hello everyone, welcome to GoTarryn TV. I'm Taryn, the traveling trainer with GoTarryn Personal Training here in the greater Atlanta area, about to welcome an awesome guest back to GoTarryn TV, Catherine Luciano. Before Kat comes back on to GoTarryn TV, I'd like to ask everyone out there, if you please be so kind as to like this video, leave us a comment, and share it with all of your friends and family out there. Now, since we last spoke to Kat, who is a frequent guest here on our show, she has some exciting news that she's going to share with us. I can't wait. Some really big things are cooking with Kat and everything that she's got going on, not only with Concourse Athletic Club, but some bigger things with Z Health and her own brand. So I'm going to ask her some questions about that, see how that's going, and she's going to fill us in. So when she gets back on here, we'll be talking to Kat Luciano and getting caught up with her. Now, before she gets back on here, remember, GoTarryn Personal Training is your time, your investment, your life. We'll be back in a second. Back, everyone, and as you can see, side by side, we're welcoming back to today's show Kat Luciano. Kat, how are you doing out there today?
I'm great, thanks. How are you doing?
Very good, thanks. Nice to see you again. And last time I saw you in person over there in Phoenix, Arizona, you were finishing up training there for the Z Health. So I know we'll talk about that. But I understand that before we were recording here, you were mentioning that there are some other big changes in store, and they sound really exciting. So
huge.
Yes, that's great. So tell us. I'll give you the floor. What's been going on since last time we talked here on Skype?
So I have been in management for the last 13 years. And as you know, of course, I've been a personal trainer for 16.
Right.
And I've decided to now focus solely on my training and clients. And I'm stepping down from my salaried position, which is kind of scary, but also extremely exciting. And so I just want to, focus all of my attention on practicing my Z Health and my personal training. And then also I do the metabolic nutrition, as you know, as well. And so I just I feel like at this point in my career and in my life that I would be more useful to the client itself versus like the trainers now,
Yeah, no,
so
that's
it's
exciting.
Big change.
Absolutely.
Big change.
Yeah, I remember we were talking about that over the course of the last year with, being able to figure some positionings out of your own business model and kind of exploring and being more independent in that regard. So congratulations. I'm really excited for you. I know how that feeling is. Yeah, I can totally relate.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful. And I think that's smart that you're going to be balancing that while still being with Concourse, because obviously they're a great anchor to, stay with, and you've got a really great reputation and you're a great asset there too. So it makes sense to just stay in some capacity. So that's smart. Sounds really, really good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess the question now is, when has this happened yet, or when will this be happening, and what's that process going to look like?
So tomorrow is my last official day in my
Okay.
position as athletic director.
Okay.
And I think that probably next Thursday, so in roughly a week, I'm going to take a little vacation.
Good for you. Good.
But I have been building my client base in the last few weeks, knowing that the transition was coming.
Yeah.
And so at this point, I will continue my studies with Z Health. I can't remember. I think you haven't heard. I've been accepted as a master practitioner with them. So
Congratulations.
Thank you. I've been accepted into their program for master practitioner. So
awesome.
In addition to I have 6 more courses to do, but then also my master plan or master program. So I'm just going to be focused on my studies and just helping as many people as I can just be as healthy as they can and strengthen their brains along with their movement abilities. So I don't even know what I'm going to do with myself. I haven't been in this position before, so it's so exciting.
Yeah,
so
that's
exciting.
Wonderful. Again, lots of congrats your way. So, I know this is really a lot of emotions going on with both excitement, but also trepidation and being anxious. That's usually, notice that, and that's a good thing too. I think that a little natural fear means that again, good things are coming, and it's worth it. So that's wonderful, and I'm glad you're going to take a little time to kind of detach and maybe recharge. That's a good idea for sure.
Definitely.
What else are you going to be doing during your time while you're kind of getting your thoughts collected and trying to get some time to yourself?
In terms of my little vacation, is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So I definitely will be studying because that's just, I even love it, you know. So I'll put some time into my studies with my Z Health programs, and just like you said, recharge for sure.
Yep.
I've been getting lots of sun, so I'll probably get a little more sun. Maybe I'll go to Disney World. I don't know.
Oh,
Like
fun.
everybody goes to Disney World, right? Whenever
Yeah.
something major happens, so I gotta go to Disney World.
Absolutely. No, good for you. That's fun. Yes, absolutely. And when, I can't remember, Kat, if you told me, but when's the next training for you, or when's the next time you go back out to Arizona?
So my next trip to Arizona is in October, and
Oh,
that's
okay.
for a strength course.
Mhm.
And then in December, the next course will be in Henderson, Las Vegas. Sorry, Henderson, Nevada,
Mhm.
but very close to Las Vegas. So that should be fun as well.
Oh, okay. Very, very exciting. And I remember last time you and I were talking, you and another trainer at Concourse were mentioning that maybe of trying to get Z Health over to Atlanta. Has that progressed at all? Any?
So you freeze up from time to time. Sorry, our Wi-Fi's aren't that
Sorry.
good.
Okay, no
Are you,
worries.
so were you asking like to get Z to come to Atlanta?
Exactly. Yes.
So they do courses in lots of different places.
Yep.
But so they did about 3 courses here. My first 3 were here. And then I think that they get a better response when it is kind of closer to their home base.
Okay.
But so I don't know that they'll be coming back to Atlanta unless they do just kind of an intro course. But either way, like I would still reattend that as well. But yeah, so no luck so far in Atlanta.
Oh, that's okay. No, that totally makes sense. Now, where are you at, Kat? How many do you have under your belt now? Because I remember you said there were quite a few, but where are we at now on your total amount of certifications and classes that you've done at this point?
And you're talking strictly with Z?
Yeah, just with Z Health.
Sorry, froze again.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, just
Okay.
with them.
So I've done 6 out of 12, and then so the master practitioner program adds almost like another course, but it's not done all in one course.
Okay.
So that's kind of like I would say self-study, and then it's calls and webinars and material and things that you kind of study in that regard, and then you're tested on everything that you've done through all 12 courses.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so it's a big deal.
Yeah, it's very intense. And I remember last time you and I were talking, Kat, that you had mentioned that for those folks who aren't familiar with Z Health, this whole pretty much certification is almost like equivalency of like a doctoral degree as well, too.
Correct. So the amount of material that you get is equivalent to kind of a master's degree in neurology, but then if you go through the other courses, then that is the equivalent of doing like a PhD in neurology. And so it is intense. It's a lot of material. And there are some talks of joining with a college to get the actual, a title for it, but a lot of that stuff just has to deal with money and and it's hard to kind of work out the details. So we'll see. For myself, I'm not necessarily concerned with it. Of course, it's nice to be able to say like, oh yeah, I have a PhD in applied functional neurology, but at the same time, as soon as people experience it, it's the results that you get immediately speaks for itself, I guess I would say.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. People are most interested in what can you do for them, and then seeing the results. That absolutely, you're right. That's exciting. That's great. So I'm really happy about that. And again, that's wonderful. And how many more? I think you touched on this a little bit. There was about a dozen or so in Z Health. But so you've got another 6 or 7 that you plan on getting under your belt then?
Right. So I have 6 more courses to do, and then you're allowed to reattend for life. So I'll be going back because Dr. Cobb, who created Z Health, he never stops, researching and looking for more and the newest and the latest and greatest information. So he's always changing the courses to include any of the newest research, any of the, newest studies and things like that. So that's one of the best things about this program is you get this education for life. You go back as many times as you want to.
Oh, wow. That's invaluable. Gosh.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Have you met, Kat, any other trainers here in Atlanta that are also Z Health trainers now or that are going under the program?
So I work with one, which is interesting because they're hard to find, and yet there's 2 of us together in one place here at Concourse.
Right.
The other people in this area are they seem to be more like chiropractors, massage therapists. I didn't find too many that do actual like personal training. So
Interesting.
that was kind of interesting to
Yeah.
see. But there are pockets that are more condensed than over on the East Coast, and it's probably because they are located over in Arizona. So there's a lot more trainers in Arizona and Denver and kind of closer to that home base than I've found kind of out here on the East Coast.
Great, great, very good. Now,
Yeah.
Kat, back to your new business model, your own brand, and your own kind of you branching out on your own here, being more independent. Where are you at on terms of like brand name and trademark, copyright, website design, marketing? Like, have you? I'm sure you've been thinking of ideas like that. I'm just curious to see where you're at in that process because I know it's pretty
Yeah,
forward
sure.
looking.
Sure. So I do have a Facebook page and an Instagram, and I have the domain name, and that name is Neural Rev and Flow, which stands for Neural Reeducation, Vitality, and Flow.
Okay,
And so I reserved that name, and
good.
then I think to myself when I go to a brick and mortar actual location that I may have a different name. But right now, if people just wanted some information, now that I will have a little more free time, I plan to add more information on those pages, so people could find me there or just follow it for information, because specifically with the metabolic nutrition, it's so different than what people are told,
Hmm.
and it's unfortunate. And you and I have had these conversations before,
Yeah.
but even now, so I was finishing my lunch. Let me see if I can get this. So I'm walking around with a Mexican Coca-Cola, and the looks and the questions and the things that I get, they're like, wait a minute, aren't you in charge of the trainers? What are you doing with a Coke? And I'm like, wow, let's have that conversation, because it's not what you think it is, and so it actually contributes to a healthy metabolism and a healthy thyroid. And so it's funny, but people are they're so used to listening to media, and I hate to say it, but even their doctors, but that probably sounds really bad. That I would just say to people, understand that where you get your information in the general public, that is not what they study, right? So
Hmm.
when your doctor, whichever doctor that may be, he does not study nutrition. He studies that area. He
Hmm.
studies your heart. He studies the surgeries, right? Like, they
True.
don't study nutrition. So they're just not the best source for the nutrition information.
That's a really good
Um,
point.
but so I am that unicorn. Like, I'm unique and different. That's kind of how I just accepted it, you know.
No, that's great. Yeah, I mean, I think the important thing of developing your own niche and is being unique and finding something that's different, and then that's a great way, like you said, to open up the door to communicate to potential new clients or people to talk to them and maybe get a new client out of it that way. And in terms of getting new clients and building up your awareness and people to get to know you, what have your marketing efforts been like elsewise outside of like the social media things?
So yeah, that's a good question, because doing it outside of a club is something I have not done yet,
Hmm.
and that's where, like, I'll plan on putting more thought into that, especially kind of being on vacation, putting my thoughts together. But while I'm here within this club, I'm doing workshops and I talk to people out on the floor,
Hmm.
and we've kind of already started to build this awareness about how neurology can help them with their movements, get
Right.
them out of pain, even just kind of make them feel better regardless. And so we're going to be doing a vision workshop coming up soon.
Oh, cool.
So that's going to strictly be based on some exercises people can do to train their vision.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
worked with one of our other coworkers who decreased her prescription from doing our 90-day program,
Oh, wow.
and so it's pretty cool. Like, that's another thing that people think they can improve,
Hmm.
but we're not changing the structures of the eye. We're looking for a neuroplastic change,
Right.
which can be done. So what you think you see is nothing more than input,
Hmm.
your brain's interpretation of that input, and then what you think you see is that output. And so if we change your input, if we clear up some of that stuff, then you can actually see clearer and see further, and maybe even get you out of pain, depending on how much of a deficit you have and how that may be affecting you.
That's
So,
great.
so doing things like that, those kind of workshops, is opening that awareness of what it is and how it can help. And then also just having the ability, of course, to meet with more clients. So that's helpful. And we're going to start offering now just neurotherapy. So instead of, right now we're meeting with people that want personal training, and we're like using the neurology to help with the things that they already have deficits in. So it's almost like they didn't know they would get that, right? Well, now we're going to offer neurotherapy on its own. And so we'll come up with sort of what that may look like, and come up with a way to market it to those that would be interested. And then that will strictly be, now we're doing the applied functional neurology based on your assessment. And so if it morphs into personal training, then we'll put them over in the personal training realm, but we'll keep that separate because I actually do have some clients that only do the neuro. So for example, if someone comes in and they do have a shoulder problem, they're not necessarily looking for training because they work out on a regular basis. They've worked out their whole lives. But they have this pain in the shoulder that's not allowing them to do internal rotation or swim the way they have been. So we strictly focus on the neural things that will get that to go away for good. And then, they can now go and do the activities that they like to do.
Oh, that's wonderful. Wow, that's great.
I think that's going to be a big deal.
Oh, yeah. Now, is there a workshop that's on? We have a date set right now for that vision one coming up, or?
We didn't set the date as of yet because so my coworker that's also Z Health, she just left for vacation today. Gotcha. And then I'll go on vacation next week. So it's going to probably be towards the end of August.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Yeah, that's really fun. I mean, again, it's all about marketing, and you're doing everything in networking and, getting involved. So back to, as far as Z Health is concerned, Kat, I know that's going to be a real good foundational basis of your company and your brand. This is a generic question. What have you found most rewarding being with Z Health and learning from what you've learned there in the last,
okay, so that's a big loaded question, honestly, because like I said, I've been a trainer for 16 years, right? So I'm a certified strength and conditioning specialist, and I've been in different aspects with the management, and I also am a Pilates instructor. I've even had a yoga cert and, things like that. So the main thing is what I started saying now is I can make the seemingly impossible possible. And so it's that, like, if people don't know that their deficits in their visual capacity could be causing their back pain, or that a scar from 50 years ago could still be neurologically active, and again restricting their range of motion or their ability to move, a limb or something like that. So number one, sort of the education ability to tell a client about that and how that is working in their system. But I think the most rewarding thing, obviously, is, okay, so you've had back pain for 25 years. Great. Okay. So now we do this, it's called a pencil push-up. We do a pencil push-up and your pain is gone. So this was my mom. So my mom was having back pain, and so I had her do a pencil push-up, and her pain's gone. And so if it happens to come up, she now knows to do a pencil push-up to get herself out of pain. And that's what it's about. It's giving the client the autonomy to do this on their own and not have to go spend, whatever it's going to cost them, either a copay or a hospital bill or a doctor visit, for them to say, well, you're getting older. What do you expect? Which enrages me. That's not an okay answer. Right. You don't send someone out without helping them. That didn't help.
Exactly.
So, so that's where my passion comes from. But for sure, it's that. My mom now knows how to get herself out of back pain, because if anybody's listening that deals with back pain, how many things does it stop you from doing?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Like maybe you're not moving. Maybe you're not going to see your kids or your grandkids, or you're not going on an activity with them because your back hurts or something, right? So, and I've adopted this new little saying that everything affects everything. And so maybe getting you out of back pain allows you to, I don't know, go become a surgeon, right? I don't know. But so everything affects everything, and I just love the results that I see with it.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I mean, that's what it is all about. That's very rewarding, and that ultimately makes you happy. And with this new journey now, Kat. So I know we're just scratching the surface. This is the beginning, but what would you like? I guess first question on this, short term, like in the next year, a year from now, we're doing another one of these interviews. Where are you going to be at with the new brand, and how many clients, I guess, are you going to be seeing, and what's that business model going to look like a year from now, next August?
So if we're talking a year from now, I hope that I am either ready to open my own brick and mortar facility, or about to, because that is the master plan.
Mm-hmm.
Because between myself and my friend and coworker who does Z Health as well,
Mm-hmm.
like I've already mentioned, sort of like all the things that I do: personal training, Pilates, even a little bit of yoga, but the metabolic nutrition. And then, of course, we all have our own personal stories and everything as well.
Right.
And then for her, she's also a licensed massage therapist,
Mm-hmm.
doing Z Health. She's also a personal trainer. I just kind of feel like between the two of us, we have so much to offer
Mm-hmm.
that, and we're both so unique and different
Yeah.
that I think that in a year from now, I'd like to be ready to open that place,
Okay.
that actual place that we're seeing as many as we can realistically handle while
Mm-hmm.
still keeping a work-life balance.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want everyone to know how to take care of themselves. That's kind of the ultimate goal.
Absolutely. And then, I guess, obviously, long term, 5 years from now, let's say down the line, I'm sure that at that point you'll have, the brick and mortar store open. What do you see, big picture at the end of the road here with the journey 5 years from now, let's say?
Well, so that's interesting too. Long term, the worst thing I can possibly think of is not knowing where to turn. And so in answering that question, I'm kind of thinking Z Health is becoming more known. People are starting to hear about it.
Right.
Dr. Cobb just spoke at URSA, which is the biggest fitness conference. So I think people are starting to hear about it.
Oh, yeah.
So I would love for people to just know they don't have to be a Z Health practitioner, but
Mm-hmm.
if they know that they haven't gotten results with something else,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that may be, physical therapy,
Sure.
chiropractic, personal training, if they're not seeing results, that there's a reason why, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not hopeless. And so I hope to be known enough that people can say there is something somewhere for me to go. I can get, sorry about that, I
Gotcha.
can get out of pain, or like there is somewhere for me to go. Whether that's nutritionally or if it's movement, I just want people to know that there is something, because I've been in that place where it seemed like nobody had the answers. From, as you know, like I had vasculitis.
Yeah.
I since had a kidney transplant.
Right,
No
exactly.
one had the answers when I was going through all these things. Everyone was kind of like, we're
Mm-hmm.
not sure.
Yeah.
I had diagnosis after diagnosis,
Remember, yeah, exactly.
um, and and people look at me and go, "Oh, you would never know." Like, of course, you would never know, because I've spent my life finding those answers. So
Mm-hmm.
I just hate the thought of thinking that other people are suffering with the "I don't knows" and "let's make you a pincushion, let's test this and try that."
Mm-hmm.
And it, can we find that without being that invasive? Yes, there is a way. And so that would be my long-term goal. People know that there's somewhere they can go when they're not getting answers anywhere else.
Very good. That's excellent, and I think that's going to be a big niche for you. You're going to have a gold mine opportunity there, Kat, because we hear that a lot in this business, obviously.
It's so funny too, like the gold mine. I'm not concerned with that, of course. Like I need to make enough money to live,
Mm-hmm.
but we were warned by Dr. Cobb that the more we study this, the more people we see, the crazier the cases will become, because
Mm-hmm.
there's so many people that definitely aren't finding answers, and that's blatantly clear,
Uh-huh. Right.
because a lot of us have had that experience or know someone that has, and they're
Mm-hmm.
just suffering, and it makes me very sad. So I just want to help anyone that's ready to try something that seems different.
Yeah, that's exciting. And Kat, I can't be more supportive enough if you need anything from me, if there's anything I do to help, because I think what you're doing is wonderful. So to help other people and to be supportive for them, and let's say they want to reach out to you, let's get your, I guess, most updated content. You dropped the website name again. Can you please provide it again, along with
Yes.
your direct contact info, please?
Sure, and thank you so much, Taryn. I know you are always supportive, so I appreciate you very much.
Oh, my pleasure.
So I don't have a website. I have Facebook or I have Instagram that are in their very rough beginning stages.
Sure.
So I want to put more into that. But Neural Rev and Flow.
Okay.
And you can reach me at my phone number, 678-209-1202, or by email, which is Catherine with a C, CatherineCSCS@gmail.com. Those are the best ways to reach me. Even if people just have questions, just like, hey, this sounds interesting, I have this, or I know a person with that, so because every time someone tells me a story, I'm like, I want to help them,
Yeah.
So even if it's a question, I'm totally cool with that. Happy to help.
Yeah, perfect, Kat. I'll make sure not only to put the Facebook and Instagram pages up here when we fade to black, but I'll make sure to go on and follow those right now and hit a like button on those. So, and you did mention, I know, that you reserved the website for the future, so that's perfect. I'm glad you got that covered. So it looks like you've got all your ducks in a row, Kat. And I guess also, I've got the pleasure of meeting your mother, who's a very lovely lady, last month. So that was very nice. Glad to hear that she's doing well. Please tell her we said hello, too. I don't know if she watches this at all, but if she's not, please tell her I said hi.
Thanks, Karen. I will.
Yeah, awesome, Kat. And you enjoy yourself. Again, Kat, I can't say enough. Congratulations, but good luck. And enjoy your vacation next week as you decharge. I promise I won't text you and ask you to do one of these yet for another month. So, but thanks. We always appreciate you.
Well, it just might be at the pool if you do.
Yeah, right, exactly. Maybe we can do one poolside. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy yourself, Kat. And again, I'm going to follow you along with this journey, and I'm here for support. And again, big things are coming from you. So keep it up. Keep up the great work.
Thanks, Taryn. As always, I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Likewise. Yeah, absolutely. And as we fade to black, here comes all the contact info on the screen right now. We'll see you, Kat.
Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.